How much resistance will President Trump face from his own party, especially following new leadership changes in the Senate?
You know, after this election, I think that movie is the dust of history. I think Trump has a clear mandate, populist win. Most senators and Republicans, even slightly Democrats, will give him a honeymoon period. So I don't think we're going to have much of a resistance from the Republican Party, at least. We'll see how the other factions play out from the Democrats or the media who gave resistance for the last decade.
Well, and you do bring up a good point. I don't think anybody really, the amount of resistance, and people can say, oh, it wasn't resistance. It was, accurate fact checking. It was, challenging the candidates. But there was a lot going on in his life that he has overcome to make it back to the White House. Ari, with the GOP nearing complete congressional control, in light of President Trump winning in nearly every county in America, a number of Democrats saying, this isn't the party we grew up with, this isn't the party we knew. What is the right way? I don't want to interrupt you, but what is the right way for Democrats to actually stay in tune with their constituents and also work with Republicans?
I'll be the first person to criticize the Democratic Party, and I'm going to criticize them in a moment. But we've got counties and we got counties. We got LA County with about 11 million people, and we got the whole state of Wyoming with, 700,000. So you can win a lot of counties, but again, one county could have the population of 22 states combined. Again, though, we lost the election. We lost electorally, and we lost the population vote. And you're the popular vote, and you're 100% right. What happened to the Democratic Party? And I point the blame, and I think the responsible players here are the fringes. It's the people who occupy campuses for weeks at a time and don't let kids go to school. Which parents want to send their kids to college and pay $100,000 tuition at Columbia University and see their classes ransacked? Now, we have lost the messaging war here. You see how Trump packages his empathy and his sympathy with the working class, with people who are angry, with a vast majority of Americans who see the country is on the wrong track. Do I think he's the right person to lead? No, far from it. But the Democratic Party, first of all, last year, this time, I was on one of your programs and I defended the White House and I defended President Biden. And we thought, we're under the impression he was 100% healthy. He was not. And the White House kept that from reporters, from journalists, and anybody who dared question their wisdom was made fun of. So we didn't have a primary. We went into this in summertime with a candidate who hadn't been tested in the primary. Secondly, there are issues that matter to a whole lot of Americans, and then there are issues that matter to 1 or 2% or a fraction of a percent. Democrats managed to alienate a whole host of your everyday, average, good old regular voters because they stuck to their guns on issues that matters to 1 or 2% of the population. And on those issues that they thought was going to matter to a much larger portion of the population, they were wrong. I don't know what's racist about controlling our borders. I just don't understand this. Why the hard left? Now, again, Trump killed a great bill, and we would have been a much better bill than nothing. But again, put that aside. Let's talk about my party. What's wrong with controlling our borders and having a decent immigration system? What is wrong with coming out? For instance, there's a congresswoman who doesn't even accept to call Hamas a terrorist organization. And these things resonate. These things go a long way in American people's memories, and they stay. And last but not least, Kamala Harris was hidden from the media for a whole month. You're a prosecutor. We know how you can deliver to a jury. She should have been out there up front. Everybody knows who Trump is, but how many people really knew who Kamala Harris was?
Right.
And I think she was still a better candidate by far than Donald Trump, but she did not manage to sell her message and sell the. But very quickly, though, in 2008, President Obama won a landslide, and they had a filibuster-proof Senate majority. I think they had 60 votes until that gentleman from Massachusetts came in and got that vote away from them. But again, in 2 years, remember, in 2 years, that huge landslide majority was turned into a massive Tea Party red flood or a red tsunami. So again, in 2 years, things can change big time for us and for the Republican Party.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.